All right, well, welcome to this week's Client Support webinar. My name is Bennett McDowell with TradersCoach.com, and today is April 10th, 2024. Hope everybody's doing great out there. All right, so this is a time for our clients to get together with me, and if they have any questions, of course, feel free to ask those. And if not, I'll cover a couple topics. Today, I'm going to cover Pennants and inside price bars. So those are the two topics I want to cover today. Before I get going, let me just have Gene come on. And Gene, anything you want to add?
Well, hello, everyone. Want to mention to you all, I know a lot of you already attend, but we do a stock analysis Friday every week on YouTube at 8 a.m. Pacific time on Fridays on our YouTube channel, and I'm going to post I'll post a link for that. And Bennett, back to you. You can tell them a little bit about what we do in Stock Analysis Friday.
All right, thanks, Gene. All right, so on Stock Analysis Friday, basically that's a place where you can bring your stocks, and I'll look them up for you. So kind of like in this webinar here, we're only together for half an hour, so I'm not going to really look up any stocks. But tomorrow is where we spend a good hour to an hour and a half every Friday going over stocks. And we do that through a variety of sources. We have a Facebook that we broadcast on, we have LinkedIn, and we have YouTube. So if you just join our YouTube channel, you can come, and it's absolutely free. All right, so let me go through some administrational items here really quick. And of course, if you guys have any questions, feel free to ask. I'm going to go full screen here. So let me pause that and stop that, I guess. Give me 1 second. All right, so now you should be full screen. All right, so first thing I want to go over the risks involved in trading. I have to do this when I do a webinar like this or any other type of webinars. And basically just know there's risk in trading the financial markets. Nothing's guaranteed, even with a proven system. We're always working in a realm of probabilities. Trade with money you can afford to risk, know how to do risk control, and run any ideas that we talk about past your financial advisor or whoever manages your money to be sure they're suitable for you. I've got several books available on risk control, so you can pick those up. My newest book, The Art of Trading, is coming up, actually being released later this summer, early fall, and that's going to be a second edition of my first book. All right, we also have software available. Many of you are here because you have our software. Some are here thinking about getting the software. We have videos on all this, and goes into great detail on how it all works. So definitely check those out there on our website. And I'll put some links at the bottom on the recording. And remember, the recordings for this are all held on YouTube, but they're in the unlisted area. So you need to access those through the VIP portal. All right, so you know, Bitcoin moving up nicely. I got TradeStation open. I know a number of people use TradeStation. A number of people are, of course, are using the Ninja Trader platform as well. So it really doesn't matter what platform you use. Just be proficient in it and comfortable in it. And if you're new, you know, just give yourself a little time to get comfortable. All right, I want to talk first about Pennants. I'm going to bring up the whiteboard on this. And I've got a good example that I just on Bitcoin that occurred. So what is a pennant to you guys? What's a pennant? What does a pennant mean? When does it usually form? Let me just throw that out there for a quick question. So when you are you familiar with a pennant? Okay, good. So a lot of people are, and a lot of people are using it. Good. All right, some people have not heard about it. Okay. So usually a pennant obviously looks like this, right? And so, you know, the term came from the pennant used on the flagstaff, whether it's a yacht club pennant or whatever. So the idea is that prices at times get stuck in these channels where you have little breakouts and then it comes down and it gets more narrow as it goes along. And usually what you do is you draw the pennant connecting tops and bottoms, and you find an initiation point, which is over here on the far left on this. And then you draw straight lines connecting like this area, and this area. And what happens is that in terms of probabilities and technical analysis, usually if the pennant has two good points, and you need two good points to draw them, usually when it breaks out of the pennant in one direction or another, that's usually a signal of a new trend beginning, a bigger move coming. And of course, you can have a breakdown to the upside or to the downside. All right, so that kind of thing. Usually if we get a pyramid that forms inside the pennant, then usually it hits, we have found usually when the pennant succeeded as well. But if it forms inside the pennant, just wait for the prices to exceed the pennant and then take it out and then put your stop below the pyramid trading point, whether it's up or down. But that's kind of the way it looks. And what we've noticed on markets, and especially I'm going to open this one up on the Bitcoin market. Notice here on Bitcoin that pretty much exactly what I just drew happened. So we have two anchoring points here, okay, and here, and here, and here. So those are your anchoring points, right? So that formed the pennant, and basically prices remained in here and then broke out recently. So that's an indication, that's a bullish indication that we may be getting ready for a move to the upside. And then of course our stop can be down here below the bottom of the pyramid. And so the idea is, as long as we don't get stopped out, we can, we'll have a little bit of volatility, breathing, zigzagging the market does, but off it should go in the direction of the break. So pennants are really important, and they usually form during market consolidations. And this would have almost been a sideways market if we didn't have this breakout here, right? Okay, so sometimes it's a pennant can also represent a sideways market. But they're pretty cool. And a lot of times the probabilities will be in your favor, obviously, which is why we use it, that will occur. And so we kind of take note of those. Now, the next thing that we find kind of interesting as well, and if you have any questions on this, feel free, of course, to chime in. If you have another market we'll look at, we can do that. But the other thing I wanted to go over too is what we call the inside price bar. So let's say you had a market that was kind of moving up and we get an inside price bar. So very, very simply stated, the inside price bar obviously is inside the previous price bar, right? But in terms of technical analysis, it doesn't matter if this price bar is bullish or bearish or whatever. Just focus on the fact that it's an inside price bar. Doesn't matter if it's bullish or bearish. So when you have that type of inside price bar, what happens is, again, if you're thinking about, if it comes at the top of either an uptrend or a downtrend, it can give you the opportunity to have an idea on which way the market breaks out of that inside price bar on what to do. So if you're sitting on a lot of profit at an uptrend and the market breaks to the upside, we'll stay with the trend, okay? And maybe you'll get another one and it will break to the downside. At that point, you can take some profits if you're scalping. So they're used a lot of times in scalping, but you can also use them a lot of times if you have a situation here where you have a move up and then a move down, and then you have a move back up, and you have something sitting here, you have a pyramid here, and you get a break to the upside. You might want to go ahead and enter early using that inside price bar. So there's exceptions to certain rules. In other words, our rule basically is to enter here, which is the safer bet. But if you want to get an early entry, that could be used in that conjunction, in that way. Likewise, if you're coming down and you have an inside price bar and it breaks to the upside, then that may be a good place to scale out. Okay? So there's many ways in which you can use the inside price bar, one to enter positions, and certainly ones to scale out of both profitable bullish trades, like in the upper scenario here, or bearish trades, okay? Locking a little profit at some point. So when it breaks out, however, it's not as powerful as the pennant or the channel breakout either. Basically, what we're saying is whichever direction it breaks on this inside price bar, and it doesn't matter if the price bar is bullish or bearish, but whatever way it breaks out, it certainly can signal 2 to 5 price bars in the direction of the break. So let's say you're in a target zone or something and you get a break to the upside and it's a bullish trade. Well, that's probably good for another 2 to 5 price bars in the direction. So it'll go further into the target zone. So don't just get out, wait until those 2 to 5 price bars come about and then trail your stops. Okay, so that's kind of cool. Now, the other thing that's interesting with these inside price bars is when we see them, depending now if the price bar is bullish or bearish, now comes into another scenario. So for example, if you notice, let's say we had this scenario where this was a bullish bar, okay, and this was a bearish bar. Does that look familiar to anybody? Does that look familiar? What do you think? Right, looks like a reversal bar, right? Good, good, Joe. All right, so basically the reversal bars
Connection lost.
sometimes take into account this inside price bar. And so if the momentum is high enough, because we're looking at momentum, we're looking at a lot more things when we draw a reversal bar than just an inside price bar. But the idea is that we're looking at a couple things. One is for this to be a bearish 2B, for example, then you have to have a bearish price bar here. This has to be bearish. Now, most 2Bs will be inside price bars, but there's different configurations of 2Bs. You can have a price bar that comes up like this, and then have a slightly lower price bar here, and this can be a 2B. And that is not an inside price bar. So not all 2Bs are inside price bars, but they can be. And the 2B reversal like this is just as powerful as the inside price bar. In fact, if you get a 2B with an inside price bar, all right, that's probably more powerful than just an inside price bar alone because of all the additional calculations that go into structuring a art reversal. In other words, the momentum, the direction of the price bar on the inside price bar, and also the previous price bar. So it's a little more strict and better, does a better job at picking more key pivot points, I guess is a good way of saying that, okay? Now you can see price bars, these inside price bars, even during channels. So if the market is coming something like this, we got a channel like this, you could see it inside this. I wouldn't take anything, I think, inside a channel like that, but you can see them anywhere. That's my point. It doesn't have to be at the end of a trend or at the bottom of the trend. It can be pretty much anywhere within a situation. So if we look at a real chart now, all right, let's just see if we can find one here on this Bitcoin chart and say, oh, okay, here's a good one. Right. Believe me, you don't have to look long for these. Okay, so on this, here is one right here. Here's an inside price bar. And here's the price bar before it. Okay, so again, the break was to the upside. So you're good to 2 to 5 price bars in the direction of that break. And that's exactly what occurred. Does it always occur? No, but it happens more often than not. Here's another one, okay? Inside here, the break above, good for 2 to 5 price bars. So it can be used as a short-term scalping tool, whether you day trade markets, position trade markets, or not. And the idea is then you have to formulate, if you're going to use it to enter a trade for a scalp and exit a trade, you got to figure out how to exit it. You may get another inside price bar to help you exit, but you might not. So therefore, when you have 2 to 5 price bars, you're going to have to develop some type of exit procedure, maybe trailing your stop and so forth, okay? So keep that in mind, but it can be used for a scalping tool alone. Sometimes some of the most simplest tools are the best, right? So I would paper trade that and experiment with it to see how you do with it and see if that's something you want to add to your toolbox. But I find them really helpful. And I find them helpful too if I've gotten a pullback. You know, another helpful point here, let me bring up the whiteboard here, is let's say you're in a trade already. Let's just say we got the pyramid here, we're forming, we got the pyramid right here, we're in the trade, we move up, then we move down, and we have an inside price bar, okay? So if it breaks above here, this could be an add-on. Just make sure you're not increasing your risk more than 2%, but that could be an add-on. And your stop could remain down here. Or your stop could remain down here on your original position. And if you took a 2% on that, then put your stop below the outside price bar down here. Okay, so you don't have too much more risk. All right, so again, you know, you use risk control, but they can be used in a variety of different ways. So I find them pretty darn helpful, okay? So on Bitcoin here, for example, we had the break above. Doesn't mean you won't get a pullback, but the nice thing is we got the pyramid here, so our stop is right under here. So we expect this thing to eventually move up to the upside. And a pennant is different than an inside price bar, but maybe we'll get an inside price bar. Maybe we'll get something like this and then a break to the upside. We'll see. All right, any questions on that? I wanted to cover those two things. I don't like to cover too much, but I do like to cover that as an educational situation for anybody out there, because I find those two forms of technical analysis are simple to use, and yet at the same time are really good because they produce results. So I like those. All right, so that's what I had for you today. We have a few minutes left, so if anybody has any questions, feel free to ask. Otherwise, we'll pick it up next week. So everybody okay with the software, all that kind of stuff, course material? Everybody can get in to the client support area. Van, you're very welcome. Thank you for coming today. We have a good turnout today. These client supports are really nice. And it gives me a chance to kind of get together with you. Now, also too, if you got the time and you're interested, don't forget we have a day trading room. We have a lot of fun here. Let me see if there's anybody in here from the day trading room. Oh, give me a second. Oh, Jim, I see you here. Okay, Jim's here. So Jim is here from the day trading room, and it's a lot of fun. So, you know, again, if that is something that interests you, feel free to reach out. You can subscribe 1 month, or you can have a discount and subscribe for more than 1 month, up to you, but that's on our website. But the thing that's neat about the day trading room is not only do you really become kind of like a family in there. It's kind of fun
Hey,
to get together
Ben.
twice a week. Yeah, can you not hear me?
Hey there. No, well, you were kind of breaking up a bit, but you're good now. Wanted to mention that I just put Terry Felter sent me a private message, but I just posted it in the chat, so you can answer that when you're ready.
Okay, let's see what he says. Let me just, once again, on the day trading room, the nice thing is it's a great way to learn our system because I trade the system. And yet at the same time, we also have other accounts for other people that trade general accounts. So you can also share your ideas and experiment and see what works good. But you'll also learn how to trade my system in there really quickly because it's such a short time frame. All right, let me see if I see your, where am I looking, Gene? I don't see it. I see Jim in there. I see.
Yeah, so look at the chat, not the questions. So where I
Oh,
post my.
oh, okay, yours in the chat. Okay, give me a second.
Yeah. I do that, Terry, just so you know, no worries. I do that all the time. So switching back and forth to private and yeah, so not to worry. I can
Okay,
read you
great.
the
I see.
question if you like.
All right. So let me repeat Terry's question. He's basically asking how often does price reverse immediately after triggering on these inside price bars? I would say you're probably looking at this being accurate around 70% of the time, I would say, Terry. And what I would do to see more exact on current markets is test it yourself. You know, maybe keep track of like 30 times it triggers, and then out of those 30 times, see what the percentages is, and you'll see them pretty high, actually. You know, anytime you get, you know, above 65%, that's a pretty good odds, but 70% is about what you should see on the inside price bar. But test it for yourself. And that goes with, you know, most anything you read about, always test these things. This is what's great about all the simulators they have out there, like on Ninja Trader. If you use a simulator, and make it really fun, you can make it like real trading and test ideas, and you'll have a good idea after 30 trades what works and what doesn't. You'll also have a good idea also about yourself and how you trade. And like I always say, if you can't make money in a simulator, you're not going to make money in real life, right? But good question. Thank you, Gene. I didn't see that. That was good. And Terry, feel free to, if you have any questions, you can send those to the entire audience through the questions area too, if you'd like. That way I don't miss them. Okay, good. All right, anybody else? All right, well, why don't we go ahead and wrap it up today? We'll call this a wrap, so to speak. All right, so market's pulling down a little bit. Not a surprise, you know, in the more report we've been talking about, a profit-taking pullback, so we're certainly seeing that. And this should deepen a little further. I don't think it's a major change in trend or anything yet, but I am expecting that, but not probably till late 2024. So we'll see what happens with that. All right, so we'll see you back here next week, and great job. Thank you, everybody. And we'll put this in the this recording in the private area inside the client support VIP area. Now it'll be posted on YouTube, but it's unlisted. Okay, so it'll be easy viewing. Don't forget stock analysis Friday tomorrow. So if you have any stocks you want me to look up, feel free to come. You know, if a broker
Tomorrow is
calls you,
Thursday. Tomorrow's
oh,
Thursday.
oh, you're right. Wait, I'll tell you. Thank you, Gene. What would I do without you? All right, Friday, we have stock analysis Friday. And on that day, if you have a broker that calls you, bring it and I'll check it from a technical standpoint. Likewise, if you're in things now and you don't know where your stop should be or where you should get out, bring it, okay? So that's the purpose of that. And we're there for about an hour and a half. So it's a pretty long event, but we try to cover everybody's stocks. So that's kind of fun. All right, so we'll see you here next week. Thank you, everybody, and have a great one.